Exciting power panel for you guys today. James Poulos is a columnist for the Daily Caller. He joins us here. And then we've got Linda Killian, who is author of The Swing Vote, The Untapped Power of Independence, and journalist. She's also a senior scholar at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. And Lucia Graves is a political reporter for the Huffington Post. Great to have all of you. First topic, is Romney's tax rate, as well as his not releasing his tax returns, a serious issue for him? Let me start with you, James. I think if you had a decent Democratic candidate, he'd beat the crap out of him for having a 15% return when he's got $250 million. Is that a real issue or no?
Well, Romney will beat you with whatever it is that you hand him. Look, I think the issue here is, the Wall Street Journal has come out against the little loophole that Romney's taken advantage of here. It's the tax code. You take advantage of what you can. I think the real issue here is that really the reason why he's making all this money is because of capital gains. Too many Americans right now don't have any capital that they can actually get some gains off of. So rather than playing a class warfare card, I think the attitude to take is, we need an America in which lots and lots of people are able to muster the amount of capital that they have, so we don't live in a debtor society where there are a handful of creditors who are bailed out by the federal government, and it's bad politics, and it's bad economics. You know what's
class warfare? When Newt Gingrich says poor kids should clean rich kids' toilets. So, hell yeah, I would do class warfare. I'd take that 15% and shove it right in Mitt Romney's face. Lucia, am I right or wrong?
I mean, I think this definitely is a liability for Romney. You have to remember that this is the same issue that made Warren Buffett come out and say, look, my secretary is paying a higher rate of taxes than I am, and that's not right. So the issue here is not even how much money Romney has. It's that he's paying a lower tax rate than middle-class Americans. And that's just not going to sit well with a lot of people.
Linda, does Obama have the guts to be able to be that strong? I can't see Obama being like, I can't believe this son of a bitch only pays 15%.
Well, I don't think he has to. The media is reporting it. Romney has said it's envy. It's not envy. It's fairness. And as Lucia said, when someone who makes $50,000 a year pays a much higher rate than someone who, according to his FEC filings, has assets of at least $200 million, that is not going to sit well with swing voters that I talk about in the swing vote in, let's say, Ohio, where they've seen jobs going overseas and they don't have a job, a lot of them, and independent voters, left, right. People think the system is rigged against them, and there's one set of rules for congressmen, the wealthy, bankers, Wall Street, and there's another for the average person. And they think it's, as you said earlier, it's lobbyists.
Yeah, look, man, if I'm running against Romney and this guy is getting paid 15% when he's got $250 million, and a guy making $36,000 an individual is paying 25%, I'd keep hitting him with it until he's bleeding from the ear. Okay, but Obama, I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't have much faith. You're like, oh my God, I kind of disagree with that a tiny bit. Anyway, now, next issue's got me even more worked up. It's, are conservatives dumb or hateful? I'm keeping it real here. Now, I'm not just saying that randomly. I want to show you a clip from last night's Fox News debate. Rick Perry answering a question about Turkey, one of our top allies.
Well, obviously, when you have a country that is being ruled by what many would perceive to be Islamic terrorists, when you start seeing that type of activity against their own citizens, then yes, not only is it time for us to have a conversation about whether or not they belong to be in NATO, but it's time for the United States, when we look at their foreign aid, to go to zero with it.
Yeah, you dumbass, they're already at zero. They don't get foreign aid. State Department has asked for $5 million for a program that has nothing to do with aid to Turkey, right? They're cooperating on an issue. Even if you counted the $5 million, what is that? That's nothing, right? Oh, they go to zero. Look, is this guy, James, I know sometimes you and I disagree on politics. Is this guy just incredibly stupid that he would call the second largest army in NATO one of our top allies? Even the Wall Street Journal says we're working hand in hand on important things like our planes taken off to make sure that we're covering Iran and making sure those sanctions work, etc., if we go to that. Is he that stupid that he calls them terrorists? Or is he like, who cares, man? It's South Carolina. They're vicious racists here in my own party. So I'll say Muslim equals terrorist. Which one is it?
You seem surprised that Rick Perry has made a gaffe on television. I don't understand. Look, for every strange string of words that comes out of Rick Perry's mouth, there are a lot of conservatives who aren't saying similar things or similarly strange things. What's going on in Turkey right now? It's not a great situation. Yes, they're a NATO ally, but honor killings have gone up about 1,400%, I think, in Turkey in recent times. It's a situation that's drifting in
but look, that's so misleading. Did it go from 1 to 14, or did it go from 1,000 to 14,000? And it's definitely not the latter. It's what they do is honor killings, Muslim, terrorist. Right? Everybody's against the honor killings. The government's against the honor killings.
Obviously, you don't want to make that leap the way that Rick Perry made it. The point that he was trying to make is one which blew up on the launch pad. But, look, I think if you want to talk about how conservatives take an approach to what's going on in the Middle East, you're not going to find the answer to that question by looking at the words that come out of Rick Perry's mouth.
All right, yeah. Now, look, this is Rick Perry. But, Linda, as we look down these candidates, Rick Perry, by the way, also made a mistake of thinking there's only 8 Supreme Court justices. There's some chance he's just painfully dumb, right? But then Herman Cain with Libya. What would I do in Libya? I don't know. And then Michelle Bachmann thinks that doesn't realize Libya is in Africa. I mean, these people are Sarah Palin not running right now, but thought Paul Revere was warning the British. Are they stupid, or are they just appealing to the lowest common denominator, which actually will get your votes in the Republican Party?
I'm really not sure. Maybe they're appealing to the know-nothings in their party. On some level, I have to say, why do we care about Rick Perry? He's last in the polls. I suspect he'll be toast after South Carolina. But on the other hand, he is governor of Texas, and he's running for president in the Republican Party. And overseas, these kind of comments are taken seriously. And obviously, the State Department had to walk this back today. Turkey said, well, look, we've been a member of NATO since Rick Perry was 2 years old. And, the thing is that voters, independents, liberals, conservatives, they want real conversations about real issues. They don't want this kind of silliness. They really don't.
Maybe in the general election. In the primaries, they eat it up. It's like banana cream pie to them. Oh, Muslims are terrorists. All of them are. Yes. Let's make poor kids clean toilets for rich kids. Yes. Tell me something else racist. So, Lucia, which one is it? Purposely doing it, or are they just knuckleheads?
Look, as you were saying, Cenk, Rick Perry is certainly not the only Republican presidential candidate to embarrass himself in the area of foreign policy. But you've got to remember, this is the guy who could not remember what government agencies he wants to eliminate. So even given what I see as a fairly unimpressive Republican presidential field, Rick Perry still stands out as a very special case. You got to wonder how he ever got to be the governor of Texas, honestly.
He's a special needs candidate. And what he's going to need after South Carolina is a ticket back to Texas, because he's done. All right, great panel. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Now, when we come